Hello students, welcome back to Studi.Live. Today in the chapter Breathing and Exchange of Gases, we'll be learning about the exact process how the exchange of the gases takes place. Well student, when I'm talking about gases, which gases exactly I'm talking about? I'm talking about the two important gases, namely oxygen and carbon dioxide. Well student, where is exactly this exchange takes place? This exchange takes place between the lungs and blood capillaries. Blood capillaries. Okay student, so between the lungs and the blood capillaries, there is one important thing without which the lung is completely incomplete. So what is that one thing which connects or joins the lungs and the blood capillaries? That is very importantly alveoli, or singular of alveoli is alveolus. Are you understanding student? So this is the connection, or this is a very important thing which joins the lungs and the blood capillaries, with the help of which exactly the exchange of the gases takes place. So here I have drawn a diagram of alveoli. Basically what is this? Intersection of alveoli. So after the intersection, what can I observe over here? There are different things. Now, namely, the first thing over here, what I have drawn is the alveolar cavity. What it is? Alveolar cavity. Okay, students. Now, from here, what is going to enter? The air is going to enter. And from where this air comes, students? This air comes when you are breathing in. That is when you are inhaling the oxygen from the surrounding. And then what will it go, student? The carbon dioxide will go. Right, student? So this is what exactly I am talking about, the oxygen and the carbon dioxide which is getting exchanged. Well, so this is the alveoli. Okay, student. And then what is this which joins the alveoli? What is over here? The blood capillaries. As I just mentioned, the blood capillaries and alveoli is the connection, and that's how these lungs and blood capillaries are able to join. So what is this? This is called as the blood capillary. And when it is many, you will call it as laries, capillaries, singular and plural. Now, as I just mentioned, alveoli, air is going to enter. Then what will be entering from the blood capillary, student? Exactly, the blood is going to enter from the blood capillaries. Are you understanding? And what will be these, student? What is the important constituent in the blood? The RBCs, right? So what are all these together? They are called as RBCs, and namely red blood cell. You understood, student? Then what else do we have over here? This is the lining. What you can say? The lining, which is called as the cell wall. You can call it as alveolar cell wall. Okay, student. So that's what we can observe when we are doing the intersection of the alveoli, followed by the alveolar cavity, alveoli, blood capillaries, red blood cells, and the blood capillary, which is and from where the blood is entering. Okay, and here we'll be understanding that how exactly the procedure is taking place. Well, student, the process of exchange of the gases is also called as diffusion of gases. What it is called as? Diffusion of gases. And whenever I'm talking about the diffusion, it is always from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. So what will be the flow of the blood? From the higher concentration to lower concentration. Are you understanding, student? So what is this I'm talking about? I'm talking about the flow, like flow of the blood, from where it will take place, from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. Then there are two important factors which affects the exchange of the gases. What are the very two important factors? Factors affecting exchange of gases. There are two important factors, student. The first one is the solubility of gases. The solubility of gases. When I'm talking about the solubility factor, I'm talking about this air. From this air, it is not mandatory that only oxygen will be there. There can be different gases. There can be nitrogen, there can be carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and many different. So, the air, how much it is getting solubilized with the blood, that is a very important factor. If all or maximum gas is getting solubilized, the process of diffusion will be higher. Then the next factor which affects this, thickness of wall. Thickness of wall means which wall I'm talking about. Over here, as you can see over, student, this is the wall of the alveoli, which is called as alveolar cell wall, and this is the wall of the blood capillaries. If these are very much thick, then the rate of diffusion will be slower or less comparative. When the thickness of the cell wall is slightly thin, then the exchange of the gases or diffusion will take place to a faster rate. So these are the two important factors which affects the exchange of gases. Did you understood, student? Well, apart from this, there is very important term over here which we need to understand, which is called as partial pressure. Partial pressure is very important. You must have heard that it is being written as somewhere PO2 or PCO2. So what this is I'm talking about exactly? I'm talking about the partial pressure. So how will you define this? Basically, this is the pressure exerted by an individual gases. The pressure exerted by an individual gases. So let us mention over here, pressure exerted by individual gases is called as partial pressure, as simple as that. When I am talking about the oxygen partial pressure, it will be written as PO2. That means the pressure of the oxygen gas is higher. Then when I am talking about the carbon dioxide, and it is being written as PCO2. So you understood what is this PO2 and PCO2 stand for? That is called as the pressure exerted by individual gases, because each gas will try to take its position. Each gas will try to occupy the spaces whatever is available. So that's how we will be able to define and calculate the oxygen partial pressure or the carbon dioxide partial pressure. Okay, student. So due to this partial pressure and concentration gradient, the diffusion of the gases is gonna exactly happen. Apart from that, student, there are three important type of cells which are present in the alveoli. Okay, three important cells present in alveoli, and namely they are, the first one is called as squamous, endothelium, and thirdly, the basement substances. So over here, the green one that I have drawn, which is basically present between the cell of the alveoli cavity and the blood capillaries. This one is called as basement substances. Basically, you can say it is filled with the basement substances. Okay, student? Over here, what is this? This is called as basement substance. Okay, student. So, what are the three important cells which are present in the alveolar cavity? It is not just made up of the one single cell. Rather, it is made up of the squamous epithelium cells, endothelium cells, and the basement substances which is present between the alveolar cavity and the blood capillary. So, student, with the combination of all these together, the exchange of the gases takes place in the lungs, and yes, we are able to survive with a continuous exchange of the gases. So that's all for this concept. I hope you've got the clarity. To get more clarities in your concept, stay tuned with Studi.Live. Thank you.